Richard Rawlings was once on top of the world. He had it all, but then he lost everything because of his greed. He thought he was untouchable, but he wasn't. And you guys won't believe how it all came crashing down for him. Richard soared to global stardom with his hit reality TV show Fast and Loud on the Discovery Channel. From its debut in 2012, spanning a whopping 16 seasons and over 160 episodes, the show revved up our hearts and raced through the world's TV charts. Richard seemed to be on top of the world, but every engine, no matter how powerful, has its hiccups. Richard was hit with an insane $6 million lawsuit by the Gas Monkey Bar and Grill, the very Dallas hub he once created and adored. But how did things fall apart for him this bad? Let's find out. It all started when his second half left the show. Back in the day, Richard Rawlings and Aaron Kaufman were unstoppable together. Richard with his sharp business mind, and Aaron the guy who could make any rusty junker purr like a kitten. It was like magic happening. But then, out of nowhere, Aaron dropped a bombshell. He would be leaving Gas Monkey Garage. Aaron decided to hit the road, and the garage was just never the same without him. Word is, the fast-paced world of TV was getting to him. There was just always too much pressure, having to meet all those deadlines all the time. Plus, there were whispers about some personal stuff and clashing opinions which further caused a rift between the duo. But Aaron's exit wasn't the only speed bump on Richard's highway. If you thought a lead mechanic walking out was dramatic, trust me, it gets even more shocking. Richard himself started feeling like he was in a chokehold, and it all had to do with contracts. Richard went on the Joe Rogan Experience and he laid it all out. Now put yourself in Richard's shoes for a moment. You found a gorgeous classic, maybe 69 Mustang, and naturally, you want to show it off to your buddies or fans. A quick snap, a post on Instagram or Twitter, and boom, instant love from everyone. But poor Richard couldn't even do that. Every move, every picture, even a simple tweet, it all had to go through Discovery. Looks like the showmakers had him on quite the leash. And what's worse is that it wasn't even about sharing photos. It was about creative freedom. Richard's passion wasn't just cars. It was sharing those cars, their stories, their revivals with the world. And when he couldn't do that, tensions began to rise. Every episode, every restoration project, there were whispers of differences between what Richard wanted and what the producers demanded. It's one thing when your right-hand man leaves, but when the literal face of the show feels trapped, that's a disaster waiting to happen. And it did happen. The worst of it came in 2018. The Bar and Grill, which Richard helped put on the map, took a serious swing at him. They hit him with a lawsuit, and not just any lawsuit. We're talking $6 million. That's a lot of cash, even for a guy like Richard. But what happened? Well, it had a lot to do with the suffocating contract we were just talking about. The folks at the Bar and Grill claimed that Richard tried some under-the-table moves to wiggle out of it. Now, it's not entirely clear what he did, but when you hear terms like defamation and deliberate and deceitful attempts, it paints a picture of a guy who might have been playing fast and loose. But that wasn't even the craziest part, because they also said that Richard's tricks started even before the venue opened its doors, which is pretty crazy to think about. But the lawsuit wasn't just about money, it was also about Richard's reputation. Think about it, legal battles, headlines, and whispers in the car community, all of this wasn't great for the brand. And for a guy like Richard, his brand is everything. This wasn't even the end of it though. Beyond just trying to slip out of his contract, the lawsuit also dug up some serious dirt on Richard. The Bar and Grill claimed that Richard had been running his mouth, slinging mud, and slandering the joint. But here's where it gets even juicier. Richard allegedly threw out baseless accusations that the managing member, Daniel Flaherty, was lining his pockets with Richard's hard-earned cash. That's a pretty wild claim to toss around, especially without solid evidence. Because of this legal tussle and the ugly rumors, folks in the industry started to keep their distance. Would you want to work with someone entangled in messy lawsuits and accused of bad-mouthing partners? The truth was eroding, which was bad news in a business built on handshakes and reputation. It's no wonder then that after this whole debacle, the show's ratings didn't sparkle the same. The buzz wasn't as loud and the glitz faded a little bit. While Richard did manage to escape that payout and his garage is still up and running, his name just doesn't hold the same weight anymore. When you string it all together, Aaron's exit, the suffocating contracts, the public spats, and then this massive lawsuit, it paints a clear picture. Each event led to Richard's dramatic tumble from grace. It's hard to say if he'll ever be able to redeem himself. The once untouchable automotive kingpin now faces an uphill battle to regain his crown and the trust of the community. But who knows what will happen next? Anyway, what do you guys think about all this? Do you think Richard can make a comeback, or has the damage been done for good? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below.